The nighttime had arrived, and Percy had just got done with his run with the express. Hello, Percy. Another very busy day with the express? It sure was, just like with all the other days.
You must really like that job, don't you?
Yeah, I guess you can say that. Although it has become very tiring for me. Just then, Sir Topham Hatt came out of his office. Okay, now, apparently a shipment of engine parts that was supposed to go to the mainland came to this island instead. Engine parts to the mainland? That sounds to be very important. They are very important indeed. And I have just assigned one of 2 engines for the job. Now I just need to assign another engine for the job. Maybe I can do it, sir. I can really use a break from taking the express. If that is what you want, Percy, then I will assign you to take the engine parts to the mainland. And perhaps you can get Henry to take over express service, since he's not too busy. Or at least I think he's not. Then I shall make that arrangement as well. Until then, good night to you all. Soon the other engines were on their way back to their sheds, while Thomas had to go on and get the mail delivered. The next day, Percy was all filled with coal and water, and arrived at Brendam Docks. Percy, glad that you can make it. Now we're just waiting on one more engine. Speaking of which, here he comes now. Ah, Edward, good to see you finally coming out of the sheds. Edward, never thought I'd see you very joyful again. When I was told about the engine parts needed to be taken to the mainland, I knew this was my time to redeem myself and show myself I can be really useful again. Edward and Percy were soon coupled on to the train full of engine parts. The crewmen at the mainland are counting on you to get those engine parts delivered. Good luck to ye both. You be needin' it, mateys. We'll soon get those engine parts to the right place. And Edward and Percy were off. Getting to the mainland was a long way away, but Percy was already used to having long runs, and Edward most definitely needed it as well. Soon the 2 engines were on the bridge, connecting Sodor to the mainland. I still remember how long the bridge is to the mainland. I can't believe the mainland is not too far from here. Eventually, Edward and Percy made it to the mainland, and their journey continues from there. As they were continuing through the mainland, they came up to some points. Then came 2 engines that they were most familiar with. Oh no! Is that? Oh, look. If it isn't those 2 puffballs from Sodor. You're alive? But you can't be. We saw Thomas push you in the water. Well, he did, but then there was a very strong current that pushed us all the way here on the mainland. Surprising that current is strong enough to push an engine or 2. And now we can continue what we have started back on Sodor. And since you 2 are here, we can start with getting rid of you both. Edward, we need a plan, and quick. Fortunately, I have just came up with a plan. Push and run! And Edward and Percy pushed Splatter and Dodge out of their way and ran off. They're getting away! So Splatter and Dodge went straight after Edward and Percy. As Edward and Percy were getting away from Splatter and Dodge, they saw some points up ahead. Let's use that track on the left to hide. So Edward and Percy hid at what could be some unused tracks. Splatter and Dodge thought Edward and Percy were still on the main line, so they remained on the main line. It sounds like they're gone. Good thinking on having us use these old tracks, Edward. Thanks, Percy. It should be a good idea for us to use these tracks to get to the repair yard. That way, we'll have a lesser chance of being spotted by Splatter and Dodge. Then Edward and Percy heard a voice. Is someone there? Who's there? Edward? Did you hear that? I heard it. It must be coming from up ahead. And slowly went the two engines through the trees. Then they found where that voice was coming from. What is that? Not what is that? Who is that? You're a traction engine. But why are you not on the rails? I'm not supposed to be on the rails. If you can tell by my wheels, I'm supposed to be on the roads. I don't need rails to be useful. How did you end up here? I was on a train being taken to the scrap yards. I managed to get myself free and got away, and ended up hiding here. That is terrible. It sounds like you need our help. How can you possibly help me? Well, what if we took you away from here and to the island of Sodor? You can do that for me? I always wanted to live on the island of Sodor. Then we will come back for you. We promise. Soon Edward and Percy made it back to the main line. And they finally got the engine parts all the way to the repair yard. Ah, you two must be Sir Topham Hatt's engines from Sodor, which means these must be the engine parts we have ordered. I must have to say, well done to you both. We will soon have the engine parts unloaded, and we can finally get to work on repairing that engine that we have been repairing for such a long time now. Can we see that engine once he or she is fully repaired? Of course, you can see him once he is fully repaired by tomorrow morning. After all, you both look tired after your long journey, so I am letting you stay here for the night. Thank you, sir. Much obliged. And Edward and Percy went off to the sheds to get their much-needed rest.